What I am supposed to calculate? Missing the target. So missing the target means we have to find the complement for this experiment. When the two sets are disjoints, we say they are mutually exclusive events. So therefore, I am using this formula here. We have mainly two important theorems. That is, one is addition theorem and the other one is multiplication theorem. Conditional probability. So this is very important concept. What do you mean by conditional probability? Hello everyone, welcome to One and All. This is your Shruti ma'am lecturing in Vidyashram, the Temple of Excellence, Mysore. So, welcome to the fourth session of probability. So, what we have discussed in the previous session, so let us recap it. So, we have discussed the probability problem based on classical approach. So, what is the definition of classical approach about probability says? That is probability of any event. Suppose I take A as an event, it is always equal to number of favorable outcomes divided by total number of outcomes. This is the classical definition for probability, and we have solved problems using the classical approach, also using combination when you have more than two outcomes. So what I'll teach in this session is the problems on complementary events. We have learned what do you mean by complementary event. So let us look at the problems on complementary event. Then we come across theorems on probability. So before going to theorems on probability, let me solve some simple problems based on complementary event. So what do you mean by complementary event? So suppose S is a sample space and E is any event. Then E complement is the set of all outcomes which are not in E. So which are not in E. So it is a set of all outcomes which are not in E. So how does we calculate the probability of a complement event? So we have learned the property, that is probability of E complement is always given by 1 minus probability of the given event. So make sure it is also called as not E sometimes. So let us take a very first one problem. If P of A is equal to 3 by 5, find P of A dash. Again, the complementary formula of probability, that is probability of A dash. I said any complement can be written as A dash or like this, or sometimes they may use verbal word that is not E. So all or nothing but complement. Any symbol can be used to represent complement. So here we have A complement or A dash. How we will write this? This is always equal to 1 minus P of A, which is 1 minus 3 by 5. When you subtract, you will get it as 2 by 5. Very simple problem. Next question. Ved hits the target 7 times out of 10 shots. Find his probability of missing the target. So, he out of 10 shots, he hits the target 7 times. That is what A is given. How much? 7 times. So what is probability of A then? It is 7 out of 10 times. What I am supposed to calculate? Missing the target. So missing the target means we have to find the complement for this experiment. So I am supposed to calculate P of A complement. So this is equal to 1 minus P of A again. That is 1 minus 7 by 10, which is equal to 3 by 10. So the probability of Ved missing the target is 3 by 10. Next question. If P of A dash is equal to 0.65, P of A union B is equal to 0.65, find P of B. We know the formula for P of A dash, that is equal to 1 minus P of A. Also, I know the formula for P of A union B. Okay, so that is equal to P of A plus P of B in case of mutually exclusive event. So these two properties I am going to use for this problem. So first let me calculate P of A using this property. So P of A can also be written as 1 minus P of A dash. Since A and A dash are disjoint sets, we can write P of A as 1 minus P of A dash or P of A dash as 1 minus P of A, which is one and the same. I have just replaced these two here. They are one and the same. So therefore, this is 1 minus 0.65, which is equal to 0.35. Now, I want to calculate P of B, so I need P of A union B formula. That is, P of A union B is equal to P of A plus P of B. Why I am using this formula? Why can't I use this formula? P of A union B is always equal to P of A plus P of B minus P of A intersection B. Why I am not using this formula? Very simple technique. So you have P of A dash, which is 0.65. You have P of A, which is 0.35. When you add it, see, P of A plus P of A dash, it is equal to 1. If they are equal to 1, then they are disjoint. When the two sets are disjoints, we say they are mutually exclusive events. So therefore, I am using this formula here. Okay. So therefore, here P of A union B. I got what is P of A. So P of A is 0.35 and here P of A union B, which is 0.65 plus P of B. If I need P of B, it is nothing but 0.65 minus 0.35, which is equal to 0.30. So this is how we calculate using the property of complement and disjoint sets. Next, the occurrence of two events A and B are 1 by 4 and 1 by 2 respectively. The probability of their simultaneous occurrence is 750. What is the probability of neither A nor B occur? So let us write what is in the data. Given occurrence of one event is 1 by 4, occurrence of other event is 1 by 2, and occurrence of both event at simultaneously, that is both means it is A intersection B, is given 7 by 50. So I have to calculate the probability of neither A nor B. Remember, neither A means A complement, neither B means B complement. Since we have nor here, we are going to use intersection in between them. So I am supposed to calculate A complement intersection B complement. Remember the De Morgan's law which you have learnt in your first PUC, that is A union B whole dash is equal to A dash intersection B dash. Also A intersection B whole dash is equal to A dash union B dash. So since I want here A dash intersection B dash, I can replace this with A union B whole dash. So what happens here? P of A dash intersection B dash can be written as P of A union B whole dash. Again, I am using the complementary property, that is any set which is complement can be written as 1 minus P of A. Since you have A union B whole dash here, I can write this as 1 minus P of A union B. P of A dash is equal to 1 minus P of A, the same property. I know the formula for P of A union B. That is P of A plus P of B minus P of A intersection B. So apply the values here. 1 minus P of A is given 1 by 4, 1 by 2, and P of A intersection B is 7 by 50. So this is equal to 1 minus 61 by 100. When you subtract, you will get 39 divided by 100. So this is the probability of the occurrence of neither A nor B. So what are the properties here? The one property is this one, and one more property of De Morgan's law, and the formula of P of A union B is used to solve this problem. Next question. The problem in a question paper is given to 3 students. The probabilities of their solving the problem is 0.5, 0.7 and 0.8 respectively. Find the probability that the problem will be solved. So here they have given the probability of solving of person A, B, C respectively. Then I have to find the probability so that the problem will be solved. Okay, so what is given here? P of A is given. So that is 0.5. Take it as person. So P of person B is 0.7 and P of person C here is 0.8. Here also I am using the concept of complementary event. So what is the probability I need to solve here? Probability problem is solved is nothing but what? 1 minus probability the problem is not solved. So not solved means they are not solved by any one of them. So the problem is solved by A is 0.5, problem solved by B is 0.7 and problem solved by C is 0.8. What is their complement? That is, what is P of A dash? That is 1 minus 0.5, that is equal to 0.5. Similarly, what is P of B dash? I'll write directly. 1 minus 0.7 is 0.3. Similarly, P of C dash is 0.2. So therefore, here the probability that the problem is solved can be written as 1 minus P of A dash, B dash, C dash. None of them have solved, we must take it as. So 1 minus P of A dash, P of B dash, P of C dash. So therefore, 1 minus we have 0.5 into 0.3 into 0.2. That is equal to 1 minus 0.03. That is equal to 0.97. So 0.97 in decimal. As I said, problem in probability may take the values of a fraction or a decimal. So this is the probability value so that the problem will be solved. Next question. Tickets are numbered from 1 to 18 or mixed up together, and one ticket is drawn at random. What is the probability that the ticket has a number which is a multiple of 2 or 3? Here we are going to use the concept of mutually exclusive event. As you all know this formula, probability of A union B is P of A plus P of B minus P of A intersection B. Here is given, we have a ticket numbered from 1, 2, 3 till 18. So I have to find the multiple of 2 and multiple of 3. So what are the probabilities so that the ticket number is either a multiple of 2 or multiple of 3. So what I take, let me choose an event A as multiple of 2. Multiple of 2. Let me choose an event B as multiple of 3. So we can also find multiples of 2 and 3. So what are the multiples of 2 from 1 to 18? So what are the multiples of 2? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. So how many terms you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have 9 outcomes for this event. And here, what about 3? So multiples of 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. So how many outcomes you have here? That is 6. What are the multiples of 2 and 3? It should divide it by both 2 as well as 3. So that is 6, 12 and 18. So that is 3. So if I write their probability values, so P of A, so n how much we have? 1 to 18 means n is equal to 18. Here for each case you have different m's. That is, using the definition of classical approach, we can write P of A as 9 by 18, P of B as 6 by 18, P of A intersection B as 3 by 18. So these are the probability value. Now I am supposed to choose the probability of 2 or 3. That is, union is nothing but A or B. So 2 or 3 means probability of A or B. Or is represented by union. That is equal to P of A, P of B minus P of A intersection B. So 9 by 18 plus 6 by 18 minus 3 by 18. So 9 plus 6 is 15. 15 minus 3 is 12, which is 12 by 18. So when you cancel it, it is how much? 2 by 3. So this is the probability of getting a number from the ticket 1 to 18 so that they are multiple of 2 or 3. Next question. There are 20 girls and 60 boys in a class. Half of the girls and half of the boys are first class students. A student is selected at random. What is the probability that the student is either a boy or a first class student? So we are supposed to find the probability of this, either a boy or a first class holder. So let me see what is the probability of boy and also what is the probability of first class holder. So how many boys we have? We have 60 boys. So in total, how many students we have? 80 students. So what is the probability of boy? I'll take it as event A. Okay, so A is, I'll take boy and event B as first class holder. So if my event is choosing boy, then what is the probability of choosing boy? That is 60 by 80. If my event is choosing a first class holder, so here they have given that half of the girls and half of the boys are first class students. So half of the girl means we have 10 girls and half of the boys, that is plus 30. So half of the girls and half of the boys. So how many students we have? 40 students who are getting first class. So what is the probability here? 40 students out of 80 students. Next, my question is, they should be both boy as well as first class holder. Boy as well as first class holder. So half of the boys are first class holder. So therefore, probability of A intersection B will be 30 by 80. Now clearly using the formula, I can find the probability of A or B. So therefore, probability of A union B is P of A plus P of B minus P of A intersection B. So A is probability of choosing boy, B is probability of choosing first class holder, A intersection B means probability of choosing boy and first class holder. So this is what probability of choosing boy or first class holder. So therefore it is 60 by 80, 40 by 80, 30 by 80. So that is equal to 60 plus 40, 100. 100 minus 30 is 70 by 80. That is equal to 7 by 8. So this is how we use the concept of complementary events as well as the events when they are not mutually exclusive. So let us move on to the next topic, that is theorems on probability. So why these theorems on probability? What does it states? So we have mainly two important theorems, that is one is addition theorem and the other one is multiplication theorem. So what does addition theorem says? Addition theorem is nothing but the total probability. What is the total probability of any event? What is multiplication theorem? We have compound probability. Multiplication theorem states about compound probability. Let us study them one by one. Additional theorem. So we have many cases in additional theorem. What happens when the events are mutually exclusive? We know that mutually exclusive means if A and B sets are disjoint, that is their intersection is empty, we say the events are mutually exclusive. So this is how we will write the probability of mutually exclusive event. That is probability of A or B. A or is nothing but union, I said. Union is nothing but sum. That is what additional theorem. So when you are adding two events, so the probability of two events will be equal to sum of two probabilities. Sum of two probability. Next. So in general, if you have n number of events, then they can be written as P of A, P of B, P of C, P of D, like that, summation. So for any three events, this is what, when they are not mutually exclusive. So this is the formula when they are not mutually exclusive. If they are mutually exclusive, the formula will end here. If they are not mutually exclusive, this is what the union of three events, that is P of A, P of B, P of C minus P of A intersection B, P of B intersection C minus C intersection A and intersection of all event. So this is when they are not mutually exclusive. So if they are mutually exclusive, then it is only the sum of all events. It is only the sum of all events. Next, conditional probability. So this is very important concept. What do you mean by conditional probability? If A and B are any two events, then conditional probability of given A, that is one event is already happened and for the same outcome, the second event has to be happened. That is, it is the probability of happening of B when it is known that A has already happened. So what do you mean by conditional probability? It is the probability of an event B when the occurrence of A is already happened. So the first event is known, so that what is going to happen for the second event is nothing but conditional probability. So the simple formula to use here is, so here I have given for probability of an event B knowing event A is already happened. So what is the formula? Then it is given by probability of B over A is equal to P of A intersection B by P of A. So suppose I take probability of A has to be find so that B is already happened. Then it is nothing but A intersection B by P of B. If it is B over A, if it is B over A, in the denominator you will get P of A. If it is A over B, in the denominator you will get P of B. So remember the formula, proof is not necessary. Next, the probability of happening of B when nothing is known about the happening of A is called unconditional probability. So conditional probability means to find the probability of an event B knowing event A has happened. But when you doesn't know anything about event A, then it is called as unconditional probability. Next we come across multiplication theorem. So what does multiplication theorem says? Multiplication theorem is purely on independent event. So here we have when the events are independent. We have already learned the definition of independent event. So P of A and B, probability of both A and B is nothing but P of A into P of B. So again, and is nothing but intersection. Okay, so therefore, if two events are independent, then the occurrence of both A and B is given by the product of their probability. So that is why here the name is multiplication theorem. What happens if you have more number of independent events? Here we have A, B, C, D. They are independent. Then the probability of intersection of all events, that is A and B and C and D. So intersection is nothing but and. So the probability of all independent is given by the product of all the independent events. Product of probability of all the independent event. Now when the events are dependent, when they are not independent, we say they are dependent. What happens if they are dependent? Then the formula changes. That is, the product of their probability is given by P of A into P of B over A. Okay, so and is nothing but here again intersection. That is, occurrence of both A and B in case of independent is just their product of the probability. But if they are dependent, then that is equal to P of A into P of B over A. So we can also extend this formula as P of A intersection B. We know P of A, and here is what? P of B over A is nothing but P of A intersection B divided by P of A. You can clearly see P of A cancel. LHS and RHS are same. So this is how we can find. So when you know the conditional probability of B and A, also the probability of A, you can clearly write for P of A intersection B. This formula can also be written in this form also. When you know P of B and probability of their intersection, then it is like this. Or you can simply write it as P of A over B. So any two of the formulas. Either if you have P of A, then it should be P of B over A. Here if you have P of B, then it should be P of A over B. So remember the formulas. So proof is not necessary since this is not in the syllabus. So you should learn all the definitions and all the terms and properties of these theorems as well as the conditional probability. So this is all about today's session. So we have learned some problems on complementary events. So make sure you know the property of complementary event as well as mutually exclusive event and the formula of P of A union B, that is probability of either A or B. So also we have learned many theorems, that is addition theorem and multiplication theorem. So what does multiplication theorem says? That is for the independent events. And what does additional theorem says? That is for the mutually exclusive event. So then if they are mutually exclusive, then their probability is sum of their probability. If they are independent event, then the probability of them is just the product of their probability. If it is dependent, then the formula is like this. I hope you understood many concepts in today's session. So we'll meet in the next session taking problems on mutually exclusive, independent and other related problems on probability. So till then, keep watching, keep learning and keep exploring. Thank you.